और उसके बाद वहीं पे डिसीजन एक तरीके से लिया था कि आई वांट टू compete the decathlon at the next, whatever the next championship would be. And next year itself I was able to compete at the interstate, और उसके बाद फिर एशियन चैम्पियनशिप्स में compete कर पाना, फिर अब एशियन गेम्स में compete कर पाना. I don't think it's short of anything but a dream. So it's like a dream come true to be able to compete at the highest level in your continent, and that too in a completely different event in 1 year. So I think that itself is a big win for me. तो उसके आगे जो भी मिल रहा है, I am just receiving it with both hands. तो मुझे ऐसे कोई एक्सपेक्टेशन ऐसे कोई अपने सर पे मेरे कुछ भी नहीं है, क्योंकि जो एक्सपेक्टेशन थी वो तो अपने आप ही मतलब सारी हो गई एक तरीके से. So I'm really happy that I'm here, and now all I have to do is just do what I've been doing in practice and competitions. So I'm not putting any extra undue added pressure on myself.
How difficult is it to move from one event to 10 events? A lot of them overlap, but for someone who specialized in one event all his life, how difficult is it to make that transition and try to be decently good in every event?
Well, it's generally a process, like you said. You're talking about 2018 Asian Games, but then in hindsight, if you look at it, it's a 5-year period. So 5 साल हुए थे, 5 साल पहले हुआ था 2018 Asian Games, so उससे अब तक 5 साल हो चुके हैं. So starting 2019, that's when I started dabbling with the multiple events, and eventually it's not an overnight thing. Eventually, in those last 4-5 years, I was able to convert into a multi-eventer. It takes physically also you have to make some changes. आपका muscle mass बढ़ता है थोड़ा सा, you gain some muscle, you become a little bit heavier because you have to move heavy implements like the shortcut. So physiologically you change, and then emotionally also, the emotions that run through your mind in a single event competition which lasts for about 2 to 3 hours versus a multi-event competition which lasts for 2.5 days is very different. We go through an emotional roller coaster. तो वो सबको हैंडल करने के लिए और वो एक मैच्योरिटी जो अपने आप आई शायद बिकॉज ऑफ द लास्ट 4-5 years I've been training as a multi-eventer, that really helped me make that transition and make it smooth. That being said, I think the Asian Championship medal was just a cherry on top of the cake. I had that validation कि yes, I can compete with these guys and I am good enough to compete with those guys. So that was that was the assurance I needed, and now going to Asian Games I'm very confident.
A lot of those athletes would be here again from Asian Championships to here. So in that sense, how important do you think that tournament was to prepare for this one?
All those guys are going to be here, and there's multiple reasons. The first one is it's really important as a factor कि motivation एक अच्छा मिलता है, and then I have that confidence that I've already competed with these guys, so being able to compete with these guys again is not going to be a big challenge. I know who's capable of doing what, and all I have to do is make sure that I am at my best on that given day. The other reason is competing at the interstate and Asian Championships both were held in really humid hot weather. तो वही weather बहुत similar China में देखने को मिलेगा. So the fact that I've had that preparation, I've had that environment I've trained in, I've competed in. दिल्ली में मैं training करा तब से लेके अभी तक, तो दिल्ली का weather आप सब जानते हैं. So I don't think there's any reason to feel overwhelmed by the environment or by the conditions and all that sort of thing. So I feel like all the preparations already being done. So as long as I'm hydrated and ready, I think I should be good.
Sports and education in India at least generally do not go hand in hand. In that sense, you are an exception given the way you have completed your education. You worked before you came to Asian Games and the Asian Championships. You were working with a consultancy, right? You were with, if I'm not wrong, what? Deloitte? No, you were with Deloitte, yes. So how do you, I understand 5 years back you were still beginning to find that balance, but now it's a completely different situation. You're a professional athlete and a qualified professional as well. So how easy or difficult do you think it is going to be to balance both of them, especially given the fact that you are based out of US where you worked? So any plans of coming back to India also?
Well, so a lot has changed since then. So 5 years back, I just finished my first year in college. So I was just 18 years old, very young, very raw. I still think of myself as very young, but not so raw. So 5 years back, I was just first year in university, and there's this little incident that I'd like to share. After my first year, I won the NCAA championships, which is the biggest thing you can win in college sport, right? So I did that in my first year. So I was feeling very, I felt that I deserved extra special treatment when I went to walk on the campus. So one fine day over summer, I went to the coach's office and I said, last month I just won the NCAA championships. That's the biggest thing you can win as a first year, as a freshman. So why are you not giving me that extra attention? I'm a kid, so I grew up and I was like, I'm an NCAA champion, coach. What's wrong with you? And he's like, he calls me up to his office. He's like, can I see your grades? And I showed him my grades, and I have a couple D's and a C and a B in my 4 or 5 classes. And he's like, what is this? I said, well, does it even matter? You called me here, to compete at NCAAs, and I was able to win that for you. So how does that even matter? That's when he told me, and which is the life lesson that I carry with me. He said that excellence transcends boundaries of what you do. It doesn't matter if you're really good in sports or really good in academics. If you want to be excellent, then it should transcend into every activity that you do in your given day. May even be, brushing your teeth, but you have to be excellent in doing that. So that's something that I carry with me, So that was one nail in the coffin that really made me think about things. And since then, I've just tried to compartmentalize everything that I've been able to do. So अगर कभी काम है या कुछ है, I've always tried to find a way around it. कभी-कभी वो उस quality का नहीं हो पाता है, लेकिन काम हो जाता है. So eventually nothing happens overnight. So जैसे बूंद-बूंद से सागर बनता है. So if you keep putting that drop every day, then eventually you'll see that there's a sagar behind you. So that's the philosophy that I try to live by. कि एक training session खराब हो गया या मिस हो गया, उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि जिंदगी खत्म हो गई. So you just have to keep moving forward, and that's how I feel like that's given me the strength to navigate through all the history that I've had with missing competitions. So
the whole atmosphere in India and US is very different when it comes to sports and academics. You've spoken about how it kept you grounded, that when you're competing you have people with you who might have gone and won maybe international tournaments, bigger tournaments than NCAA at the international level, and they're also doing good with their grades and everything. You have classmates who are doing better than you, so that's kept you very grounded. In that sense, how important do you think the whole move to US, the university and sports there has been for you in your growth, in your maturity as an athlete?
I think, like you said, from a personal growth standpoint, it's been really fundamental, the fact that I was able to go to the US and experience a different culture altogether, live with people from different countries and learn from them, as well as share my thoughts, my opinions, and have very non-judgmental and be very free with what I think, and listen to what they have to say. So I think those things really gave me a great perspective on how I should maybe grow up and how I should look at the world. So उस एस्पेक्ट से देखा जाए तो बहुत बड़ा एक एक्सपीरियंस था, जो मुझे शायद घर में दिल्ली में बैठ के अपने घर में अपने कोकून के अंदर रह के नहीं मिलता. शुरू में तो लगता था कि कहाँ चले गए, घर से दूर ऐसे, बट आफ्टर द फर्स्ट ईयर आई फील लाइक एवरीथिंग वाज वेरी स्मूथ एंड वेरी conducive to learning. So वो एक्सपीरियंस बहुत ही ज़्यादा आई फील लाइक इट्स बीन द बिगेस्ट if not the most important experience of my life, and to shape me into what I've become.
Food is one thing that every athlete talks about. कि ये sacrifice किया, वो नहीं खा सकते हैं, ये छोड़ना पड़ा हमको. Apart from chole bhature, what else have you given up in your pursuit of sporting excellence?
छोले भटूरे तो इसलिए छोड़ना पड़ा क्योंकि मैं यूएस चला गया था, वहाँ पे कोई बना के देने के लिए नहीं था. But I mean, I'm not somebody who's very picky about these things. I eat whatever I can, and I try to eat whatever I can, but in moderation. तो इतना ऐसा sugar, मुझे I think that's the biggest weakness I have, is craving for sweets, chocolates, and pastries and all sort of. So घर में रहकर तो वो वैसे भी नहीं होता है. So it's not that I have to really control myself. But the only problem is when we come to competitions like this, Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, you have villages where you're compelled to fill your plate because you see so many, you see so much variety and you just compelled to fill up your plate. But उससे अगर हम बच सकते हैं तो ये आखिरी के जो 4-5 दिन है, इसमें कुछ खराब नहीं होना चाहिए. So when I come to the village, that's when I try to limit what I eat, and especially with sugary stuff, क्योंकि यहाँ पे डिस्पोजल में इतना सारा रखा होता है. बट घर पे ऐसा नहीं है, मेन्यू फिक्स है, एक रोटी, एक दाल, एक सब्जी, 3 चीजें हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि पेस्ट्री भी 5 प्रकार की है. So I think that's the biggest challenge when you come to games village. But outside of that, I eat everything, and I don't have ऐसे कुछ छोड़ दिया, ऐसा कुछ तो मैं नहीं follow करता.
You've repeatedly spoken about your maturity in the last 5 years. Has that also translated into a better relationship with the Indian Federation in the last 5 years? Because there have been issues, like you said, you were a kid back 5 years back and everything. So you think things have gotten much smoother, much better in terms of your relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, मतलब कुछ खराब हुआ था तो मैं कभी सोचता ही नहीं,
हाँ.
क्योंकि एक इंसिडेंट या फिर एक कंपटीशन उसमें तो मतलब मुझे भी लगता था कि मुझे जाना चाहिए, और मतलब तो I felt like I was just fighting for what I thought was right at that time. So फैमिली में लड़ाई झगड़े तो होते रहते हैं, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि मतलब मम्मी से मैं गुस्सा हो गया तो मुझे अबैंडन कर देंगे,
Yeah.
हो जाएगा. So the very next day, even before coming to the Asian Games, I was at the office to collect my
Okay.
graduation card. So I don't think there's any animosity or anything like that. It's just at that time I felt like I deserved to go, and in hindsight, I think I was right and I was able to go to the competition, win a medal for the country. So after I came back, everybody, even in the federation, everybody, Mr. President, Manoj sir, everybody was so happy, and they congratulated me personally for the medal. So वो सब experience तो बहुत ही मेरा अच्छा था. And now even before the Asian Games, they had a motivating speech for us, and they said that you have to go and do your best, and we are all with you. So वो सब एक बहुत ही motivational way में देखते हैं.
You got a new pole vault pit also at Nehru Stadium to practice and everything. So in terms of getting the facilities, no problems, no doubts, no complaints, right?
उसमें हम इंडिया सबसे अच्छा ही है. मतलब आप थोड़ा पूछो तो आपको मतलब especially if you're doing well and they identify you. So with Sai also, I mean, kudos to them that I asked for a pole vault pit, and within 3-4 days I was able to have access to the pole vault pit. So I was able to order it from AT and place it at the Nehru Stadium. तो उसके लिए तो कोई मतलब no complaints. I don't think any athlete should have any complaints about this, because they're very proactive if they want to be. So that's really good.
What next? How do you plan to go further in terms of balancing your sports and your maybe further studies and your work and everything? What next for you from here on?
For now, I mean, Asian Games is one of the biggest competitions that I've been waiting for, and I've been preparing for the last couple years. So even for this competition, I even left my working experience, and I came back to India. I've been here for 6 months, and I don't see any way of going back to the US other than studying now. So I plan on being here, especially up until the Olympic Games, and just trying to focus on trying to become a better athlete and qualify for the Olympic Games. But then, like I said, my plan after this competition would be to focus on the high jump and get ready for the Olympic Games in the high jump event. But then after that, I feel like the Paris 2024 would be the last high jump competition, and then I want to switch into the multi-events full time and be a decathlon.